can we please have a round of applause for Jazz who flew in here to support us? I'm very bad at intros, so please, if you can introduce yourselves, you're gonna do a much better job than me.
Sure. So I'm Jazz Shkembri Stothart. I am from South London, Brixton, for anyone who is from London. But I'm actually half Armenian and half Maltese. So I was very excited to be invited back. And fun fact about me was I actually got married once in Malta and then once in the Armenian church, just to be fair to both sides of my family. So yeah, that's a bit about me. And I'm the co-founder of Luna, which is the world's first health and wellbeing app for teen girls to help them through adolescence. So think body image, first periods, skincare, all of that, because unfortunately our young people today are going to TikTok as their first port of call when it comes to information about their well-being and their health. And we're saying don't do that. Come to us. We are your health companion. So first in the market, lots of challenges, but also lots of opportunities for growth. And that's me.
Welcome. And let's talk business-wise. Can you give us some achievements, some metrics, some how is the business going as well?
Of course.
So they can also prepare some questions of what they can learn from each other, basically.
Perfect. Maybe to give you a quick overview of what the product does. So we're a direct to consumer and then also B2B to C as well. It's an app, Android and iOS. And on the app, teens can do three things. They can learn from expert curated content. They can ask an anonymous question and get an expert backed response. So leaning into AI there to help us service them. And then lastly, they can start tracking their moods and their emotions and start forming healthy habits through nudges there. Today, we have 125,000 members on the platform in 180 different countries, although we've ever only tried to market in the UK organically. So we've done that with no marketing spend. I've raised £1.4 million for our business. We've been Apple's App of the Day 3 times. We were the face of their International Women's Day campaign last year. And last year we came in the top 5 in San Francisco at a TechCrunch pitch. So yeah, not bad. And we're 2 female founders, so yeah, odds are against us. Only 2% of funding goes to women, and a team of 6. So that's a bit about us. And been a company for 3 years, but in the market for coming up to 2 years now.
Amazing. So before we start with the questions, try to think about questions. Please write them down. And then we do a very quick round of intros from the people who are in the room. We can start now. And potentially the people online, I don't know if they will see the first part or not, but now this is the initial start of this live podcast. So just for the first question, I would like to ask you, what does paying forward or paying it forward for you means?
Yeah, great question. I think that paying it forward essentially means giving back somehow. And I think at the start of our entrepreneurship journey, so by background, I'm a consultant, by the way, and went and did my MBA at Oxford. That's where I met my co-founder and where we had the idea for Luna. When we were like wanting to take this from an idea to a real thing, we had no idea like what to do. Where do you begin? How do you even start like doing your handles, incorporating like VAT, everything? And we basically really leaned very heavily into our network, whether that was our peers, friends from previous jobs. And then we also did a lot of cold outreach to to entrepreneurs who had built similar things in the space. And we were very surprised to see how many people were open for a conversation and who were open to helping us. And something that really has stuck with me from a CEO that's exited twice now was like, I'm giving you this time, but please pay it forward to others. And so that's what it means to pay it forward for me, giving back to somebody else who might be in a position that I was sort of 2 years ago. And, you know, we are still messaging people for advice. And I'm sure in 2 years' time, we'll be in a very different position to what I'm in now. But yeah, it's about helping others through because we've all sort of been there at different parts of the journey.
So let me ask you something. Let's start with a bit of an orthodox way.
Mhm.
What is if people would listen only to the first 2 minutes of this podcast, what is the most important advice that you have got from one of your mentor or advisors in your startup life, let's say?
Yeah. I think the most important thing is if it was easy, everyone would do it. But everyone sitting here is clearly crazy enough to keep going and to keep doing it. So I think the number one thing is really resilience. And you'll get to a point where there's a tipping edge, where suddenly actually like people are inbounding into you, or people are discovering your product, and you're no longer having to keep, pitching outwards and pushing outwards. And I think we at Luna are on the cusp of that. And that's taken us 3 years to get there, and a hell of a lot of grey hairs and wrinkles. So I think the main thing is resilience, keep going. It's difficult, but a tipping point is there. And when that happens, it's going to change the game for you.
Is that what people call product market fit?
I guess early product market fit. And that advice came from Louise Hill, the CEO of GoHenry, financial education app for kids. She's one of our advisors. And we speak to her bi-weekly, and she's like, you're getting closer to that tipping edge. Keep going, keep trying things. So I hope anyone listening, if you're thinking, gosh, it's really tough right now, keep going, keep plugging away, something will click. And if it doesn't click, then maybe you have to reconsider. But yeah, you'll get there.
So what do you think for Luna is missing for that thing to click?
Yes, I think we've done a great job at building a product that teams are engaged with. We have members who have been with us since day one of launch with 600-day streaks. We have found a growth channel for teenagers. Like I said, it's all been organic. But we have a dual audience. We have teens and we have parents, right? Parents pay the membership and the subscriptions for this. And I think we've only just got early product market fit with parents, and I'm still looking to find that growth lever for parents. And it's completely different messaging, different channels, a totally different persona to a teen. And I think that's the thing that we're on the cusp of, with a few opportunities that are bubbling in the pipeline.
So before we go deeper into what the product does and the journey that led you to that, there is one voice in my head that keeps popping up, and it says that teenagers are scary. Is that true, or what do you think?
They can be. I think we've managed to crack it, which is great. Yeah, we're doing really well on TikTok. We're cool. We're iconic. I don't know how long that will last for me. But they can be, and you don't want to get on the wrong side of them, that's for sure. You don't want to use the wrong emojis, you don't want to use the wrong slang, because they will come for you. But don't worry, if you go on Luna's website, we've got the emoji guide and the slang guide, so you can check that out to make sure you're on the right side of them.
So then how is Luna paying it forward?
Well, I think we're paying it forward in 2 ways, really. Number one, across the startup entrepreneurship system. So 2 female founders, we are always giving back to other female founders, obviously not just in the UK, globally. But second of all, we're an app for teen girls and non-binary people, and we are providing them with the tool that they actually want to use growing up. I don't know what your health and wellbeing education was like at school, but mine was pretty awful. And having spoken to the teens today, it's still pretty awful. Whereas they're getting an app and a platform that really helps them. And also, we work really closely with our brand ambassadors. They've helped inform the product. Lots of them get work experience, internship opportunities with us. They're also getting the opportunity to build an iconic health brand for teenagers across the world.
And is that paid by the parents or the schools?
Both, actually. So we have a B2C angle and then a B2B2C angle. But we are actually a freemium app, because we appreciate that not everybody can afford a membership. And so we also monetize through brand partnerships and monetize that free audience as well.
Awesome. So to dig deeper into the product, I have here some amazing questions from the audience. Which the first one is, I love that you're already drinking water. It means like the questions have been nice. Okay, so Luna,
Yeah.
how do you solve language challenges within the app and within your users?
Yeah, so we're actually only in English at the moment. Assuming that's what you mean by languages. Yeah, like I said, we're a small.
What if, for example, there are teenagers that they're not that fluent in English?
Unfortunately, that's what our app is in. We are about to start our next round of funding, and the focus for that will be scaling and being able to lean into LLMs to help us translate. But we have paying members across the world, like I mentioned, 180 different countries. Just for now, we had to pick our battles in terms of where we focus our efforts, and language was just one that we chose not to focus on. I'm sure you'll all appreciate with limited budgets and resources, you can't do everything all at once. So just English for now, but future is obviously to translate as and when needed.
So then, before going even deeper into your journey and the app, I wanted to ask you, since we're here at Supercharger Ventures office,
Yep.
surrounded by fellow founders and amazing people, for those joining online or for those that are gonna watch this potentially, in a month or in a year, or you never know, how can you share a visual, basically experience, or how can you describe this for people that are not here? What do you see here? What did you see coming? And how does this experience shaped for you so far?
I would definitely say I'm getting friendly vibes, like, good, strong community vibes. People were introducing each other as they came in, and I've been to events where it's actually everyone just sort of sticks to their own table and doesn't want to mingle, whereas everyone was introducing themselves, getting a good energy here, but then also a very good variety of products and things that people are building. So yeah, if I had to summarize, friendly community and just good energy overall.
And I know you have a strong connection to Malta, including your marriage.
Yes.
So if you can tell us a bit more about this connection to the island, and maybe if you potentially in the future could think about moving here.
Could I think about moving here? I am someone who loves buzz and city and love love being in London, and if it wasn't London, New York. So I'm not 100% sure that moving to Malta right now is correct. However, I have to say I've been much calmer this morning. I actually went for a run, and I actually went outside. I'm very bad. Sometimes I can stay like 10, 12 hours and not leave my room. So I definitely think there is something in the Maltese air. And for me, yes, I did get married here. I'm half Maltese, and my grandparents, they immigrated to London, and then they came back to Malta. Unfortunately, they're not here anymore, but I spent many sort of summers here. I still have family here, and yeah, when I exit Luna, I hope to buy a house here and then spend more time on my yacht or in my house, hopefully, in Malta.
So what's your exit strategy then? You led into that. You walked into that.
Oh, you're not going to manifest that. No, honestly, I think the reality is we'll get acquired by someone who is potentially interested in owning the younger audience for brand affiliation. So think of something to sit alongside physical products, whether that's shampoo, conditioners, period products, or someone interested in women's health, but the earliest age group. We see ourselves as a distributor to other women's health products, whether that's in fertility, menopause, perimenopause. So someone who wants the entire life cycle from sort of menarche to menopause.
And when is the plan? When do you think this is gonna happen?
Oh, not anytime soon. I mean, there's still so much we want to do with Luna. But you've got to put it out there because you never know who's listening.
And do you have a price tag?
No, not yet.
No.
It's too early. We've only just started. There's still so much to do.
Yeah, I remember one of the first thing that they taught us when I started my startup at Antler in Denmark, which was early stage.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, what's your exit strategy? And it's like, what do you mean exit strategy? You get to do your startup and exit and have money at the end? It's like, this option was new to me. And then they were like, it was an exercise of putting a price, like, okay, how much would you exit for? Like 10 million, 100 million, 50 million. And
it's important if you've got a co-founder to be aligned, because I've watched other co-founders, fall out over that or not be quite as aligned in terms of, when offers start to come through and some people want to take it, others want to keep growing the business. So it is an important conversation to have, but nothing is happening right now.
so one other question here that is very interesting, I think. How are you doing, like personally?
I think right now you've caught me in a good phase. I'm optimistic. The universe is being good to us right now. Lots of good opportunities, like I mentioned, bubbling. I'm yet to see something materialize, but the pipeline is looking good. And so mentally I'm feeling good. I'm feeling positive going into raising again. I think the market tailwinds are in our favor with big tech coming under a lot of scrutiny. The finally teen mental health is being talked about and people are realizing the impacts of what COVID has done to young people, and they're seeking out solutions to support their young people. So I'm feeling good. Yeah, I'm not tired or burnt out at the moment, but I have been in the past. So right now you've caught me on a good day. I'm optimistic.
That's good. And what's the plan for your next round?
We are planning to do a sort of 2 million round, so in between pre-seed and a seed, to help us hit the metrics we need for a 9 to 10 million seed probably next year.
And you worked in investments before, no? As a
Yeah, well, my MBA, I thought I would go into venture capital, so all of my MBA was geared towards networking with VCs. So I did my internship in VC. I worked a bit entrepreneur first as well, but quickly realised actually I'm an operator. I love building things, and actually had the idea for Luna on the MBA, so decided to park that as a career and build Luna instead.
so RVC is that bad?
I think it depends which ones you go after. I've met some fantastic VCs. A lot of my friends are VCs, and then I've also met some awful ones as well. It's a real mix.
Okay, so what categorizes a good VC in your opinion?
Honestly, I think a good VC is someone who makes time to give you feedback, and I think someone who on a call will give you a genuine response as to like whether this is something that sits in their thesis or not. In our first round of funding, we took loads of calls from VCs, and I think we were often left thinking, oh my God, we're going to get this VC coming into our round, when actually we were just too early. We weren't even in their like thesis.
They friend zone everyone.
And I just think like, why make me think that something was going to happen? And so now when we do speak to VCs, we always sort of say like, well, do you think this, what do you think? Like realistically, it's a yes or a no, and it kind of helps think that through. I do think if you've had more than one conversation with a VC and you've gone into due diligence, I think a good VC does send you genuine feedback, not just you're too early. Like, give me I want to know the real reason. Like, did you hate the product? Did you hate the founders? Are we too similar? What exactly is it? And I think those are great VCs, people who can give you a real honest reason.
And you have raised from VCs.
We've actually only raised from First Check from VCs, so Octopus Ventures, EQT First Check, never a huge amount from them. So that will become next time.
So next round you're planning on raising from VCs?
Yes.
So what's the strategy there?
We're going to go to high net worth individuals first. We're going to go
to angels?
Yes, we're going to go to our existing angels who've watched us perform, deliver, read our investment updates. And then we're going to take the capital we've raised from these two and then go to VC. So we can say, look, we filled X% of the round. Do you want to come in, instead of going complete from nothing? I think it always helps if your existing investors have come in, if you've been able to build some capital already. And then we're going to be very targeted with our VCs. We're not going to go to the ones which we know are too late for us or don't invest in consumer. We're going to go to the ones that we've kept a warm relationship with and who we know invest in our space.
And for someone that hasn't raised from VCs or from angels yet, what would be the first advice that you would give?
Yes. In terms of angels, because the majority of our round has been sort of family and friends and angel led, I think the best thing I could say is please don't do a spray and pray approach, which is find every angel under the sun and send them your debt, because you're just going to annoy them. I actually spent my Easter weekend in 2022 now, I think it was, pulling together a list of like angels who had invested in something adjacent or similar to what we've invested in. I think it was around like nearly 300. Found their email addresses, wrote them a personalized email, and sent them all over like Easter weekend. And out of 300, only 2 of them replied to me. One said, no, sorry, this isn't, I don't want to invest in it. One said, I'll take the call with you on Easter Monday. And we did the call with him and he invested. And
that's a miracle on Easter.
It was exactly. Jesus was winning. But the main thing is he then introduced us to others, and the curveball, it just started, So yeah, I just think you have to be really focused and you have to put the effort in. Like, nobody is gonna just be like, here's my cash. Like, yeah, you've got to send personalized emails. But once you have got someone who really believes in what you're doing, ask them to introduce you to people, but also make their life easier. Like you write their messages to send on to them, like, make it easy for them, make it seamless. So yeah, that's my advice. And if you're looking for where to find investors, I don't know what the Maltese equivalent to Companies House is.
I mean, there are different angel investor groups here, but
Yeah.
still very, very early.
Yeah, so what we would do is like find a company, look them up on Companies House and look at all of their investors and sort of stalk all of their investors. And that's how we would do it rather than doing we have done the angel group piece, but yeah, we would be a bit weird and do that. It takes ages, but it works. Yeah, that's what I would advise.
And what has been your biggest mistake during this startup experience? Thank you for this question.
Biggest mistake. I don't know if this is a mistake per se, because I think it was important to do this for our business. But we launched as a free app. We didn't have a paywall in place. And the reason I say it was a strategic decision is because we wanted to build a brand that was cool for teenagers. We wanted to learn from them and we wanted to grow quite quickly. And if you put a paywall in place, you're stopping however many % of people from even, moving on to using the app. On the flip side, having to then put that paywall in place and how you message that and how you do that was challenging, right? But I still believe that wasn't a mistake. And I still think having a free app to watch how members are using the product, what's sticky, where we could put the paywall based on that was really important. But perhaps we could have considered putting the paywall in place earlier. People were willing to pay for it and we were always scared people wouldn't want to pay for it. But actually, when you do have a good product, you just need to back yourself and put it in. So I wouldn't say it's a mistake. No, more of a reflection, but I still think we did it the right way. So I do think about that.
You believe you did it a bit late?
Yeah, I think we could have done it sooner. Yeah, I think we could have done it sooner.
And what has been your biggest business challenge to date?
I think the biggest business challenge has been really this dual marketing strategy that we have to operate. So we have to make this product cool for teens, right, and not icky, but then we also have to appeal to parents and make it seem trusted and reliable and, trusted for them to pay for.
How do you do that?
Well, it's different channels, different messaging, different personas that, that we're having to channel as founders and as a team. And I think that has been really challenging, especially because I'm not a mum. I've never been a parent, but I have been a teenager, and so I know what resonates there. And so I think the biggest challenge has really been understanding what it's like to be a parent. You're time poor. You have a minute or two to look at, a request that your team sends you. Messaging has to be completely different. You're on different channels. And I think I've had to literally go and shadow parents at school, pick up and everything to try and understand like what it's been like. And I think as a team of no parents, that has been hard. Again, you're operating on minimal resources. It's not like I can just hire people to come and work for me and show me how to do this. So
You are the people you hire.
sorry.
You are the people you hire.
Exactly. So yeah, I think that's been really hard. Like I said, we've had no marketing budget. So to get to 125,000 members organically is pretty impressive.
So when did you start feeling that this is really gonna happen? Yeah, gonna take off.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, from the teen perspective, the minute that clicked was when teens were leaving us reviews on the App Store. And I urge everyone to think, when was the last time you left a review on the App Store? We have over 1,500 4 to 5 star reviews from teens saying, this has changed my life. I love this app. Some are logging in 20, 25 times a week. I appreciate that's not the same as social media. But that's some pretty good stats going. So I think from us, when we started seeing, oh my God, like this feedback is amazing, that was a real tick in the box. And then on the flip side, when we started getting emails from parents saying, you've really helped my daughter, she went and had a conversation with her doctor, or she came and opened up to me, like, thank you, Luna. It just made us think, wow, like it's not just teens, it's parents as well. And they're willing to pay for it. Like we are onto something. We really, really are. Yeah.
And then the next question, which I think is very, very interesting. How do you compete with TikTok?
Great. Well, we don't compete with TikTok. We're not trying to be a competitor of TikTok. We obviously market on TikTok. Yeah, you know, we don't have user generated content. Everything is created by experts. All of our answers are created by experts, and that's not the same on TikTok. It's all user generated and it's created by God knows who. So if anything, TikTok is a channel for us to get noticed, and yeah, that's how we acquire most of our members who are teenagers, through TikTok and our organic growth there. So not a competitor.
So the 125,000, sorry to interrupt, but
Of course.
the 125,000 are all based in the UK?
No, in 180 different countries.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
What is the biggest is UK, I guess?
UK, Ireland, weirdly Germany next, and then the Netherlands. Yeah. But then I think we have 2 people in Malta. I don't know what's you.
Let's find it. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I mean, you can have one person in a country and it still counts as it being in a country, right?
I think, Kennedy, you have daughters, no?
How old are you?
Not teenagers.
How old are they?
8 and 6.
Well, when you're 8 years old, hits 10 or 11, then you need to get them on
You
loop.
have one more customers in Malta. And what about expanding? Have you considered Asia or Middle East or Africa?
Definitely. I think expansion plans on the horizon. I think there's no shortage of teenagers globally, all who go through largely the same issues. I think the question will be localization in terms of languages, and then potentially anything culturally as well. But for now, there's still so much of the UK market to get to, and other English speaking countries, and that's sort of our focus for the next 2 years.
Amazing. And before the next questions, if please you can give the cards to Inzuja. She will be collecting them from you now. And we will go to the next step with that. So the follow-up question, I think, is very, very interesting. And I would love you to be as honest, as brutal as possible.
Yeah.
If you had the chance, would you do it all again?
This exact company
This exact experience that you have
at this time in my life, or like 4 years ago?
now,
4 years ago?
with
Now.
with everything you know.
Yeah, I would. I don't want to do anything else than build Luna. Honestly, I love my job, and sadly, I work every Saturday and almost every Sunday, but I love it, like, because I really believe in it, and I love my team. I love my co-founder. And I just see this going places. I'm not ready to give up on it yet. And even when it comes to the darkest days, when I've heard like, no, your app is rubbish, like investors saying no, 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 I still think, God, I would not want to be a consultant again. So yes, I 100% would. I really would. And that's honest. It's hard, but I love it.
And by the way, you have a very interesting story of how you found your co-founder, no?
Yes. So mentioned before that I did my MBA. So I went to Oxford Side Business School to do that, thinking that I'd go into venture capital, so over-index and all those sort of networking events and internships. On the MBA program, so there's 350 people who do it. 10 were from the UK. Naturally, the 2 consultants, me and my co-founder Joe, gravitated towards each other. And if anyone who knows anything about an MBA program, you're always put in teams to do work. There was one module called the Entrepreneurship Project where you could pick your own teams. It's a bit like Dragon's Den meets The Apprentice. And this was, yeah, like I said, the only module where you could pick your own teams. I was always put in the worst teams. And for this one, I was like, right, no, 5 badass women, let's come together, let's absolutely nail this. And so, yeah, called my co-founder Joe, said, you're a former consultant, you get it, like, let's do this. And when we were talking about, the problem we wanted to solve for in the market, we kept talking about women's health and how we as young women weren't educated, weren't empowered, hardly knew anything about our body, and decided to pitch this idea for Luna, this health companion for teens. And our professors and investors who were on the panel were the ones that turned around and said, this is a really good idea. Who's doing it after the MBA? No, not me. I'm going into venture. My co-founder Joe was going to go to Peloton. And yeah, then the summer came. We started speaking to teenagers and young people. And they basically encouraged us. Like, they were like, yeah, we want to download it. How can we do it? And that for us was the real moment, that if we don't do this now, someone's going to come for this idea and we're going to absolutely regret it sitting in our VC and Peloton jobs. So yeah, we took the leap and we did it and haven't looked back since. And that's how I met
Amazing.
her.
And how do you manage conflict with your best friend or with your friend?
Yeah, no, she's my
Wife.
best friend.
So how do you manage conflict with your best friend and your partner in business as well?
Yeah, my work wife. You don't let it get to conflict is what needs to happen.
So avoid conflict at all cost.
Well, you just have to address it in the moment. If she has done something which I don't agree with, or that's annoyed me, or vice versa, we just got to, message them and have a conversation about why that's happened. For example, I hate the thumbs up emoji. It's passive ag, like, don't thumbs me up. And she kept doing it when we started. Everything was thumbs up. And I was like, I can't deal with it. Like, does she hate me? Like, why does she keep doing this? And yeah, I just had to message her, like, can we have a quick chat? This thumbs up, no. And she was, I didn't even realize that was a thing. I'm so sorry. And yeah, I'm sure that could have like built up and then it would have just like exploded. But I think, yeah, honestly, you've just got to be honest. You've got to have the conversations, as awkward as they might be, like when you feel it bubbling up. And that way it doesn't lead to an explosive argument in front of your team or your investors or whatever. Yeah, that's what we
I'm so lucky in that I'm in the position that every couple of months I see another 15 companies, and then they come here from all over the world. They set up office here for 3 months. So it's very common that you see very good teams with very good synergy.
Yeah.
So much that sometimes you feel like you want to be part of that team, and it's sometimes they fight and sometimes it's funny and then you see some teams that is a bit, you can
Feel
feel
it.
the friction, right? And I think that the thing that you mentioned is like being friends is a really, really big benefit and blessing to have being friends with your co-founders. But at the same time, it's very difficult sometimes because you don't want, like, usually people don't want to upset or
100%.
hurt random people. Imagine hurt your best friend.
Definitely.
So
Yeah.
how do you make it not affect your company?
Well, I think you don't have, there's a way of delivering a message that doesn't make you an absolute asshole. And I think you should see that. Sorry, I don't know if you're allowed to say that on recording, but it's true. You don't have to be rude every time you message, deliver feedback or whatever. But ultimately, I think if one person is perhaps not feeling great about something, then the likelihood is that it's the same with the other person. And actually all that needs to happen is a conversation to be like, this isn't really working for us. And I think to your point, you can sense that like from the outset, and that's where advisors can sometimes help. But yeah, whether you're friends or you've just met on a program, it's just really important to be giving feedback all the time. I mean, we don't have scheduled feedback sessions, but I know founders that every Friday have that, and they give feedback to each other about what they liked about the week and what they didn't like about the week and stuff like that. I think it's whatever works for you and your co-founder relationship. But ultimately, for us, we say like 3 ingredients. It's trust, communication, and then fun. If you are not having fun, what is the point of spending your next few years of your life dedicated to this, right? So yeah.
And have you ever had the feeling of the startup potentially outgrowing you?
What do you mean?
So, and this is my personal experience. When I had my startup, I always had the fear that at some point the things that are needed were more than the skills that I had.
Yeah.
And then or the co-founders or my friends that were also co-founders, like,
Yeah.
do you ever have that feeling that it is a real possibility of that happening?
Of course, but that's why you then go and you raise funding and you bring people who can specialize in that field. We really believe that you should do every single job in the company before you hire for a role, but it gets to a point where you hit your limit, right? There's only so much I could do when it comes to marketing and paid ads. So I'm not a paid ads expert, but I proved it to a point where actually like it justifies a hire. And then yeah, I think that happens across the board, whether it's like content or ops or whatever it is, HR, right? There's only so much you can do. I'm not a HR expert. Yeah, but that's when your team grows and your role as a CEO becomes different. That's what I think anyway. And it's impossible to be doing everything all at once in the detail as the company goes. You just can't focus. You can't make decisions. So I say when that happens, you need to be hiring in or looking for external support somehow.
Amazing. So now I'm gonna start reading some of
Oh,
the
God.
interesting questions. This time, let's do it randomly. So you tell me when to stop.
Okay, stop.
Okay. So we have first question.
If this is bad, I will find you after this.
Not an easy one.
Oh, don't go emotional on me, please.
No, it's not emotional, but it's an interesting one. So, what is your definition of success?
Ooh, definition of success. Where to begin? This is honestly, I think it's hitting your career goals, your work goals, alongside balancing your family and your friends. I am such a family and friends person.
A Romanian Maltese.
It's in the books, you know. And at the end of the day, I worked my ass off in consulting and sometimes never saw the benefit. And it's the same with Luna. You don't know where your company's going to go. It could absolutely take off and it could absolutely tank. And the last thing you want is to be looking back and being like, why didn't I spend time with that person, or, you know, whatever, go on that trip. So I think success to me is, yeah, hitting your milestones, hitting your goals, but not losing sight of the things that really matter and managing to balance family and friends. And it can be hard, but it's really important because things, they can change super quickly. Yeah. Is that good enough response?
Amazing.
Okay.
I love it. I agree, by the way. More personally than business, because business comes and goes.
Exactly.
You tell me when to stop.
Okay, stop.
Oh, that was quick. Okay. We already asked this, by the way. Would you do it all again?
Yeah.
So, one more.
Stop.
Okay. I felt this is heavy, by the way. Wow. Okay.
Oh no, what is it?
Who is the person you'd most like to say sorry to but haven't?
Oh, that's so deep. Sorry to, but I haven't. I think I am quite an apologetic person, to be honest. It's quite, I'd probably say sorry too much.
So maybe to yourself.
I was going to say maybe my younger self. Doubted myself so much. And I see so many of these young teens, like younger me and these teenagers, and I just want to shake them and be like, stop worrying about how you look and your weight and your skin and things like that. Like, you're going to be amazing. And yeah, I think I just put so much pressure on myself and worried too much about things that don't matter. So I think, yeah, apologize to myself for like wasting so much time there and not really believing in, you know, what I've built today and what I will continue to build in the future. Yeah.
So hopefully in the future you're not gonna have to apologize to your present self.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not.
Last one.
Stop.
So what is one thing that you would do if you weren't afraid at all?
If I wasn't afraid at all, burn all my runway to the ground and grow excessively. But the sensible founder in me says, don't do that. Don't do any crazy experiments that you don't need to do right now.
What about personally?
Personally, well, I think I'm pretty adventurous. Like, well, within what I do. Yeah, no, I really try my best to live to my max, and yeah, can't think of anything, to be honest with you.
Amazing. So to end this, can we give a huge round of applause? Was not easy, yeah?
Huh?
Was not easy.
Oh, God.